Did you know that the art industry is a billion-dollar industry? Did you know that there are people out here right now making art full time? Are you a teen artist? Have you considered monetizing your art? My name is Dr. Amy Stewart, and I was in education for over not was, I have been in education for over 15 years, and I left and went on to build a seven-figure company. And now I like to take what I know about business and what I know about education and kind of mix them together and come up with resources for everybody, including teenagers. And in this video, we're going to specifically talk about how you can take your art and turn it into a thriving business. If you check out the link below, I have a list of 25 art ventures that you can get into as a teen artist. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to take one type of art and walk you through how you could take it from a passion and a hobby to something that you actually make a lot of money doing. So what I would suggest to an artist, because I do know that it takes a long time for you to come up with a concept and you kind of spend time with it and you got to make it and then you might come back and throw it away and like do it all over again. So like, I get it. So it does take a lot of time for you to create something that is so special and unique. So the idea is to figure out how to take that and to scale it so you aren't getting super tired because you're a teen. Like you have a bunch of other things going on, like let alone running a successful business, right? So if I was a teen artist, what I would be doing is figuring out two things: how I can make my art digital so that I can mass produce it, and not like in a cheap way, but more of a practical way. And here's what I mean by that. There are platforms out here like Canva that are free and you can upload your art, and what it can do is it can resize it and put it in various formats for you. So there might be somebody out here who would purchase your art just as is, put it in a frame, hang it up, and just love it. I do that when I travel. I like to buy stuff from the local artisans and I have it hanging up all around my house. But then there are people who appreciate art but are looking for something a little more practical. Like they might want a wallpaper for their phone. They might want a wallpaper for their desktop on their computer. They might want a wallpaper for their tablet. And by uploading it into Canva and being able to resize it to those different things, you can produce a digital download immediately, mass produce it. Like you're never going to have to go back to that piece of art again. And people could just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And then what I would do my homework and find an online platform that people could buy my stuff from, like Etsy. I don't have any personal experience with Etsy. I do know they charge something, I believe, but most platforms are going to charge you something. The other is to play around with Google Forms and QR codes. So many of you have probably already done a Google form before as a quiz, as a student, right? But you can actually make your own forms. So you can make a Google form. They come free with if you have Gmail, you can get one for free and do it. So you make a little form, just have like their name, email address, like whatever, right? And so you can go to, let's say you're going to like an art festival or a flea market or something, it doesn't matter. And let's say you have your art presented and people can see it, right? And say, hey, for $10, I will send you a cell phone wallpaper, a computer wallpaper, and a tablet for $10. And it'll fit any phone, any computer, any tablet, it'll fit it. And then you take that Google form and make a QR code out of it, right? Have the QR code next to the art. So just have a picture of the art, right? Have a sign. Please don't take any pictures. I mean, that's just a given. I can't imagine walking up to an artist booth. But what I'll tell you, a lot of people do have is the nerve. So I would put a sign saying, please do not take any pictures of my art. If you are interested in having some of my art, this is the way you can purchase it. They get a QR code, they bloop, bloop on their phone, and they can give you their name and their email address. They can pay you right there. And then you can shoot them an email with a link to all of these things and they can just download them and use them. And that way I could show up with like 3-4 different pieces of art and sell them and sell them and sell them. And it's something a little different because when I go to these festivals, I've never seen anything like that before. When I go there, it's a whole bunch of people selling art. And while I do like buying it, I'm only going to buy a piece or so. I'm not going to buy from every single person. However, I would buy something digital. If it didn't mean I had to carry it home, I didn't have to find space for it, I didn't have to get a frame. Like there's a lot that goes into buying art. And that would just be a no-brainer. $10, $5, like whatever you want to charge. And I have it and you have their email address. So you can email them the next time and say, hey, I'm going to be at the mall. They're having an art festival. Hey, I'm going to be at the town square or wherever. And then people can show up and they are going to want to buy more of your art. And that rolls into the next piece is that you really want to find a way that you could connect with your audience. And by them using something like a QR code and you getting their email addresses, and being able to follow up with them later, that's a way to nurture and a way for them to get to know you a little better. Maybe you have a blog that you release every week about your process and what you're working on. Maybe you put a couple pictures in there, like of you working at your computer or at your canvas or whatever. Being available for them via social media is another avenue for making connections. Because at the end of the day, you want repeat business. You want more people to buy your stuff, right? And with art, I do want you to be thinking about 3 different types of audience in your art. My name is Dr. Amy Stewart. And those people that are going to come up and say, oh my goodness, I love it. They're going to take it and they're going to love it and enjoy it and have their best life. Then there's the second one. Those are like, then you're going to have like a secondary type of audience. And those are people like the great aunt that wants to buy her great niece something but doesn't know what to get her. Like, this would be perfect. Do something for her phone. Great. All the kids are stuck on their phones. Wouldn't that be wonderful just to send her fresh wallpaper every month? Like, whatever. Is this third type of audience. And these are going to be like your cheerleaders. These are the people that are going to tell about your business. They may never buy from you, but they're going to share about it. They're going to tell people about it. They're going to post up your flyer in their business. Like, they're going to do their best to try to like push you along. And all of these audiences are really important to nurture those relationships because you can't do this by yourself. But one big tip I do want you to take away from this is that if you decide that you want to turn your art into a business, you are no longer just an artist, you are also going to be a business owner. And so while it's very important that you make time to learn about your craft and really become an amazing artist and continue to grow and evolve, it's also really important that you take just as much time to learn how to build a business. I started off talking about how art is a billion-dollar business. And unfortunately, when you have that kind of money put in place, there are a lot of people out here who are going to try to take advantage of you. There are people that are going to try to slip things into the fine print of a contract, and it could cost you a lot of money. And then on a more individual level, just for your specific business, it is important that you have a functioning business with all the infrastructure in place. I'll give you a few examples. I've gone to a couple of these art festivals before, and I go around and I see what's going on. And I've been to tables where I go to pay with cash and they don't have change. I've gone to tables to pay with a card and they are not able to take card. I have gone to tables where they only take Cash App. I've been to tables where they had the little stripe thing where you could swipe the card on the phone, but they didn't know how to work it because they didn't practice it. They didn't do a trial run or anything beforehand. I have gone where they weren't able to take any kind of cards because the phone died because they didn't bring any kind of backup battery. Like, yes, they had the art and yes, everything was beautiful, but if you don't have a way for anybody to connect with you, if you don't have a way for people to buy from you, if you don't have any products, it's not going to matter. And those things will be addressed as you run a business. Are you checking inventory? Do you have the supplies? Do you have the money to buy the supplies? Do you have ways for people to pay you? Do people know about you? Do they know that you're an artist? Do they know that you're going to be somewhere? Like, do you have prices for things? Like, these are all things that you need to be considering when starting a business. So just go ahead and get in your brain that you're going to be an artist, but you're also going to be a business owner. So for that full list of art ventures that you can get into, go ahead and check the link below.